before. I don't see myself as a loser present modern day Stan. I feel like I've been a loser. And that is what made me mad. But it's like when you end up like, yo, get the rules of the game now. I understand what it all is. Aha. Yeah, so that's been a loser before. I don't want to. Anyway, and no offense to those who see yourselves as losers out there, because that's really not what I'm trying to do.
Hey man, remember we're not apologizing. Remember the Jordan conversation. We're not apologizing.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up. And I will say briefly, I think that there's some folks. I'm in a couple sports groups, right? Now, I don't know if you're in any sports groups. I don't engage as much as I used to in those, but it's like dudes talk so crazy to each other in these groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they even talked about your mom. I had to block a dude because I wanted to pull up on him. He talking about my family. He talking about my wife. Like, yo, I don't even, right? Anyway, but again, all these guys, and then The Last Dance comes on and they're talking, and so many of them are in their feelings about how rough Jordan was on everybody. And then took offense because he's like, well, that's because you haven't won anything. I'm like, there are people in there saying I wouldn't let any other person yell at me. I'm like, man, if you don't shut up at it, that's because you weren't worth yelling at. That's one of those things where, like, if no one has ever come for you, if no one's ever been like, that's because they knew you had nothing left in the tank. They knew it, and they just let you be below average. That's it. Like, they did. Like, it's just weird.
I'm on your live. I'm on your page.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I have to ask this. I have to.
You sure you have to?
As the resident millennial, I have to ask it. So this documentary is about over. They call it The Last Dance. They should have just called it Michael Jordan's Last Dance. That's what they should have called it.
They should have actually called it that.
But when LeBron's documentary comes out,
this is literally
no.
This is what you're doing right now.
Let me finish. I'm just saying because I think this is going to help you.
Oh, okay.
I think
you're good. By the way, you're really good. You're wheeling me in.
I think this is going to help you because everybody is like, oh, well, LeBron is so nice to his teammates. LeBron is da-da-da-da-da. You mean to tell me LeBron ain't never cussed somebody out before?
You know what? Matter of fact, I can't wait till this thing comes out. I don't know what it's going to be called, though. I don't know which dance is going to be called.
It's going to be called The King Reigns. That's what it's going to be called. I know people. That's what it's going to be called.
First off, I want to congratulate you on coming up with such a great name because that is great. And that's the only reason why I will watch it because you named it. That's it. That's the only. Wow, The King Reigns.
The King Reigns. That's what it's going to be called.
That is dope. He does not deserve a documentary. However, no, I'm just lying. I'm just kidding. You want to know what I also like? See, people. I don't know if people know this. Like, it is super indirect, and it's really not. Technically, LeBron has paid me before, and maybe I should be a little more humble. Technically, he has paid me before, not hand to hand, but have you ever? Do you remember the show that Survivor's Remorse? You remember Survivor's Remorse?
No.
That show? See, you're not even a fan, right? Anyway, there's a show, Survivor's Remorse. It was on the Stars Network. And LeBron James was one of the executive producers for that show, in which I worked on that show. I call it stunt double because it sounds more dangerous and electrifying, but ultimately I was a stand-in for Ronrico Lee.
LeBron spread the wealth, man. Spread the wealth.
And it was a good show. Anyway, back to
what are we supposed to be talking about?
All right, cool. So what happens when you lose $30,000 in business in a Thanos snap? And then I just put, that we discuss, our business Yeah, and the College Speaker Summit, is coming up. So this is going to be short, sweet, and right to it. If you don't mind me asking, Odell, I guess we can talk candidly. And I'll just speak to, let's say, the fall, like as a professional speaker, in-person talks. What would you say, and if you don't want to talk exact numbers, when I have to, but let's say the last 3 falls, the last 3 Augusts, what would you say you made?
The last 3?
Yeah, the last 3.
About $100,000. Just from late August to mid-September, because that's the time of the year. That and February to March, I feel rich. Those are the months where it's like I'm a baller.
Like when I'm walking all the way. Excuse me. Listen. For those who don't know, like the college speaking world, that's usually like orientation, where if you're an orientation speaker or you're a decent speaker, that is when you get it in. Like that's when, like, honey, I'm leaving. I'll be back in 30 days. Like that's
right. You better have my dinner ready.
Better. I want my dinner cooked right there. Tell you that.
Right there.
All my favorites. Yeah, man, I'd probably say, no, you've been cooking, man. I'd probably say like, 80. Well, actually, because 2 years ago, baby Stan, Trey, was born on August the 17th.
Oh, man.
Now, if I could have planned that better, I might have. He came a little early, too, so I missed out on about $7,000 to $8,000 last minute. That hurt. But yeah, probably maybe $80,000, $90,000 over the last 3 Augusts from that month. And so more specifically, I'm like, so that would kind of average out to this coming August of in person, at least. And we probably know speakers that like all they do is orientation who will likely.
They eat off of it. 50 grand. Like we know speakers that make 50, 60 grand in those weeks. Like
easy. Cause we're not even talking about what their fee is, but like, they're like 15, 18 dates in the month of August times 3 or 4 grand, do the math. So anyway, so that's just giving some perspective. Cause I think sometimes when people think, about speakers, they don't understand that they get paid to, bestow their knowledge or give their knowledge to other people. And what this pandemic has done is literally wiped calendars clean, like physical calendars clean. So, what have we done, Odell, like in the last, what have we done to, let's say, pivot in the midst of this Thanos snap? And I use Thanos because, he snapped and this was not something that people saw coming, really.
No.
It's like the government would be kind of like the Avengers, good or bad, whoever they are. Then there's Thanos, and then there's us, minding our own business from day to day. Snap.
No speeches.
No public speech. This isn't where I park my car, right? So anyway, what happens? What would you say? What happens when that goes? Let's say to someone that's prepared or wants to be prepared. What do they do?
Well, I think the first thing. And I just want to, whoever's watching, whether you're a speaker, whether you have a job or whatever, my grandma said this, like, life is all about how you deal with unexpected things. And that could not be more relevant now. Nobody, 0 persons on the planet, when 2020 is going to be my best year, 2020 vision, nobody said, we're going to have a modern day plague. Nobody said it. People have, they have a whole bunch of stuff in their garage or their basement, a lot of non-perishable items and stuff like that. Maybe they got their guns. I know you're from the South End, you're in Georgia, I'm in North Carolina. So they got their guns ready, they got their ammo, but nobody was like, about going outside, might not want to do that. You might die. So I think that puts everybody on an even playing field. Nobody thought that. And then when you have careers like we have, like comedians have, like artists have, like, people that do sales that travel, where it's like, about that traveling thing, not gonna happen. You're automatically like, oh, shenanigans. And so I think everybody was like that. Fortunately for us, we attended an event that will forever, what me and my boys used to say in high school, whenever we had a crazy day, we would be like, man, this one for the books. And it was like we were literally like, this is one for the books. Like, we're gonna go ahead and write this down. This will never happen again. I have two of the finest girls in high school trying to get with me. Like, like little stuff like that.
Yeah.
That will never happen again. Like, this is one for the books. And so what I'm talking about is that event that we went to. Shout out to Clint Arthur, Celebrity Entrepreneurship. We went there not as speakers, and I think that's one of the things that that transformed us. Was like, we already had these ideas, we already had these things that we're putting in motion. You had Mental Flight School, I had Impact Speaker Academy already, but we hadn't put our foot on the gas. And so from that event, we were like, yo, we got to put this thing on the gas, put the pedal to the metal. And then when all this started happening, that's when you and I were both like, yo, it's time. So we just made an avenue to share our information and our inspiration virtually. We had already started that. So that's what we're doing now. And that's how we've been able to pivot. Gotta pivot.
Gotta pivot, and it's and some folks don't understand that pivoting happens in any and every industry. Sometimes folks think, "Oh no, that doesn't apply to me." But what we're talking to you all about right now, is for you. And even as we talk about or discuss, the College Speaker Summit, the Fast Pass, you might be wondering, like, why would this help me? And quite honestly, we've been discussing the College Speaker Summit in private groups. Right. And I asked Odell, I'm like, hey, if you don't mind, can we just do one interview or, quick conversation to our public group, to kind of let them know what we're working on and what we have cooking. Like, Stan, why the private groups? And again, it's understanding that, there are two ways you get to the front of the line, so to speak. And Odell, you mentioned that recently, and that's, you pay to get in there, or you work. What was it? Say it exactly. What did you say?
Yeah, you work your way in, or you pay your way in.
You work your way in, you pay your way in. Now, there's some folks I know that are in constant contact with either myself or Odell. They worked their way in. Like, they were at events that we were at. They called us, they inboxed us, and so guess what? It was like, hey, you want to come into this club we have over here? Are you interested? Cool. And there are other folks like, oh, you have this, or you have this product, this digital book that you made. Let me buy that. And that gained them entry into our other world, where we teach how to develop selves and create products and so forth. And some people are thinking like, well, Stan, why should I have to pay for that? And here's in part the simple, like, why should I have to pay to be a part of private groups? And this is like where I'll, respectfully say, like, you pay for everything else that doesn't even teach you how to give to yourself. Like, you've not once went into your favorite restaurant.
Down, by the way, I'm right. This is
one for the books, right? Like, you've never once walked into somewhere, into your favorite restaurant. Heck, you'd ask for a coupon before you ask for it for free. Like grocery stores, restaurants, your favorite gym shoes, you would ask for a coupon before you would ask for it for free. And Odell and I have made it a career, and certainly in the last few years, and more specifically in this last year, of teaching people how to teach themselves, teaching folks how to make money with what they already know. And some folks are like, nah, I'm good. Like, oh, okay. And I think I use this as an example. There's a barber that, now he wasn't talking to me directly, but he made a post about people cutting their own hair and how, like, clowning them as a barber. And I was thinking, again, I have a sensitive side to me. And I was like, oh, for real? Well, guess who ain't getting these $35 ever again in life plus tip, right? Because I'm like, you could have framed that differently and maybe taught me or teach people how to cut hair, create your own course how to cut hair. Matter of fact, I've sat in your barber chair and given you some tips and tools on how you could do that, but you ignored me. It was more fun to make fun of people because you're thinking about, eat what you kill instead of, let me find a way to harvest, to get my own little, to create my own plants, plant a bunch of seeds and then have them all grow. So that is why it's important to, again, either work your way in or pay your way in. And oftentimes oftentimes your glass ceiling is simply associated with your unwillingness to pay.
Yes, I already have that written down.
You do? I'm glad I remembered it because I had forgotten it. Glad you.
Yeah, you might have messed around and saw that in one of my books and been like, what I heard that before.
That sounds so familiar. Anyway, so that's why if you're thinking like, what's Stan Wappy? Because some of you obviously, Odell has Impact speakers, his Impact Speakers group. I have Mental Flight School, and those are also private groups that we have where we share content that we don't give to the general public because it lets us know. Private groups let people know like how serious you are about your craft and what you're working towards, and that's imparted. So this particular speaker summit that we have coming up is a game changer because if you've ever thought about your message or wanting to share it, or heck, if you are a student affairs higher ed professional, you have a message, you've ever wanted to share it, this is where we teach you how to share your message and get paid to do it and connect with other people who are doing the same. Learn how to leverage your how to leverage what you already know and who you already know to grow, to develop, because everyone has a story and we want to teach you how to share it. Does that make sense, Odell?
Yeah, it does. And I just wanted to share this. I was jotting some things down and this is just one tip I want to share. And I'm pretty sure I made this up. So this is probably the first time you've ever heard this before.
I'm looking forward to it.
But whenever you are being interviewed by somebody, you take notes. Not because usually it's the other way around. Like if I'm interviewing Stan or I'm interviewing somebody else, I'm like, okay, let me make a note here. Let me make a note here because I can promote this episode or this way. But if you are being interviewed, you take notes. And what do you take notes on? You take notes about what the other person is talking about. And then what you're able to do is give them their words, show them that you're paying attention. Like I said before, like Stan was like, hey, make sure that, you're the only glass ceiling you have is your willingness to pay. That was a conversation we had weeks ago. And I jotted it down, have it in my notes. And I was like, I already got that. But one thing that you said that I want to let everybody know that I want to echo is if you're a student affairs professional, if you're anybody who wants to share a message, people think, Stan, that, well, in order for me to make money, I have to have like 10,000 people buy something from me. And no, you don't. People underestimate how much money they can make from 100 people knowing about what you do. 100. For 100 people, we have 15 speakers signed up for the summit.
Yeah.
And just to do quick, easy numbers, they paid at about $300. Do the math. That doesn't make us rich at all because we have to share some of that money anyway with some of the other people involved. But we have 15 people that are going to they're going to give their undivided attention to us for that moment in time. If we do the job that I know we're going to do, those 15 people are going to tell at least a few other people, oh man, Stan, oh man, Odell, or whoever they resonated with the most, they're going to share that. So our names are going to be in 15 people, at least 15 people's mouths for at least another month or so. And so if you're thinking about it on that level, if you're a mom watching this, how are you handling life in the midst of COVID? Maybe you think you're doing well some days, maybe you think you're not. There are 100 moms somewhere that could benefit from what you do on your self-care day.
Yeah.
100. Dads, it's the same thing. You and I know, and you're in John Vroman's group of Front Row Dads. It's like family, relationships, money, health. If you can share that with 100 people, maybe that 100 turns into 1,000. If you can get 1,000 people to know about you and care about you, you won't have to worry about money like you think. And it's not that many. Just think about how many people you're connected to on social media.
Right. And thank you for bringing that up too, because it's also what we're able to teach here. What we're going to teach is how to leverage those relationships, like how to help you become an authority, not just become an authority, but be secure in understanding your expertise and being an authority in your particular lane. And what's interesting, throughout the course of Odell and I's career, seldom have we spoken in the same place at the same time. We've exchanged clients, we've introduced each other to clients, but we've both been in business for a long time and have never gone head to head, like essentially. And so that means there's more than enough opportunity. And not just that, something that a good friend and a colleague of ours, Peter Billigus, always says that if he started all over again, or great advice he would give someone, and this is something you should definitely pay for, but here goes, is like, we often are like, man, I need to reach the millions, right? I want to reach 1 million people. And it's like, guess what? As Odell said, you probably know 100 people. Or what if just in your community? So moms who are right now, we're using moms, dads, whoever is at home and feels like, man, I wish I had some extra time, like some more things to do, or I'd like to turn this knowledge into money. You can. What if just in your community, you decided, I'm targeting 100 people that need or want what I have, that I already know? How can I package that? That's essentially what we're going to teach people to do, that we already do teach people to do. But so that's why it's like, hey, even if you're not just like, hey, I'm just college, I want to speak at colleges. Now the virtual place has really leveled the playing field and has let people know, listen, how can I get in touch with you? You know this, I need to know it. And if you're interested, again, I have the website up there that's collegespeakerfastpass.com. And there's a video that you're going to watch, slightly much like this, but give you some more information. And I want to say a couple minutes into the video, you have an opportunity to purchase your College Speaker Fast Pass, so you can have a front row seat to our virtual experience, where there are going to be at least 20 people there that have the potential to book you for the knowledge you know. And the beautiful part about that is the day before, we're going to train you on everything you need to know as a speaker, as an advertiser, as a marketer.
And can I talk about a little bit of what we're going to be talking about?
Oh, go for sure. For sure. Go ahead.
It's insane, because it's insane for a couple of reasons. For one, everything right now, one of the positives from COVID is that a lot of things, I'm not going to say everything, a lot of things, the price is down. So gas prices, I haven't seen gas prices this low since I was in high school. Like, the gas prices are low. And so the advice we're sharing, you would normally have to pay a couple $1,000s for, at least, at the very least, because you're going to have, our friend and kind of OG Peter Billigus talking about, showcasing things that you can do, how you can make $50,000 from one talk. He's going to be talking about that. And guess what? You can do that virtually. There aren't going to be any in-person showcases probably for the rest of this year, but Peter's going to show you how you can take those principles and use them virtually. So imagine if you, and I'm always like this, Stan. He said he's going to talk about how to teach us how you do 50,000. I should at least be able to do half that. Like, I should at least, and even if you got bad self-esteem, I could do 10% of that, like whatever.
If you have horrible self-esteem, right?
Yeah, I can do 10% of what he's talking about. So that in and of itself is huge. Then Stan is going to be talking about how to craft the perfect presentation. The perfect presentation. What I love about what Stan's going to be talking about, it's not what you think. Like, it's not what you think. It's not, well, I have to make sure that there are 17 bullet points underneath point 2, and then I have to make sure. It's not going to be like that, but he's going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about how to turn your speech into a sales machine, how to repurpose your speech, how to remix your speech, how to bring your speech together to make it look bigger than it is, and how you can sell that. I'm going to be talking about that. And then our good friend Angel Howard is going to be talking about how you can position yourself to be at the top of the mind of colleges. And the beautiful thing about it is that we are going to be talking to Angel, who is a higher ed professional, who is going to be able to say, okay, well, yeah, there's not going to be any virtual things. Any in live and in person things, but there will be virtual opportunities. Here's how you position them. This is what we're looking for. You're going to get that updated on the first day.
First day.
The first day. It's incredible. I'm still kind of upset with y'all for making the price this low.
You did make it super low. Because and here's the interesting. I'll talk about this. And again, for folks that discussing money makes you uncomfortable, just be uncomfortable being uncomfortable and then get comfortable.
Just be okay.
Right? Because money is a real thing, right? It's something that, like, a lot of folks that don't want to discuss money also want the biggest problems in the world or in the country to be fixed. But then you have to understand, in order to fix those problems, a lot of times you need money. And it leads me to the event we're at in New York when Scorpion, who is the dude has a security company that is crazy. Right? It's anyway, multi-million-dollar security company. And he said, like, a quote that he shared was, Mother Teresa hugged 1 million people. Bill Gates wrote a check and cured malaria, or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's perspective. While I do love hugs, like, what would it be like to actually fix a problem that was going on? Not necessarily the world, but my community. Like, how can I help more? And I can help more by creating resources and by having more money to put them in the proper places to move some pieces. And nonprofits, people are like, oh, it's a nonprofit, or there are certain things that are nonprofits. Nonprofits get money from people with a whole lot of money. So much money that people are like, I want to give you some, right? And I think that in order to really grow, that's what one needs. And that's essentially what we're teaching people how to do. So there's no shame in discussing that piece. And that's, again, what the College Speaker Summit is about, is not just, training you how to connect with people, how to build a perfect presentation, how to market your business, whatever it is, but how to build those relationships. Because guess what? It is your responsibility and duty to use your gift for good. For whatever you want to say, for whatever you think, it is your responsibility to use your gift for good. And to be completely honest, you're going to have to invest in yourself and in resources in order to do that. Period. And I'm going to go full Jordan right now and say I ain't asking anybody to do anything that I didn't do myself. No, Jordan's finger's all over here. I don't know what's going on with that big pointer finger. Right? It is long, right? But I'm not asking anything, or Odell isn't asking anyone to do anything that they themselves wouldn't do. So yeah, but
and you can't skip that, bro. Like, I was on an interview with Jonathan Sprinkles.
Oh, dope.
People like that have an entrepreneurial mindset, they brag about how much they've invested in coaching, in programs, in courses. People that don't have that mindset, they're afraid to invest. Yeah. And it's one thing, and when I talk about, the College Speaker Fast Pass, whether you're investing in Mental Flight School, Impact Speaker Academy, whatever you're investing in, think about it like this. I'll use this example. I'll use a real life example. My mom and my stepdad invest in real estate. And I asked my stepdad this recently. I said, what's a good real estate investment? He's like, well, a good real estate investment is if I can get the house half down. So if I can get $100,000 house for $50,000, that's a good investment, because then even if I have to fix some stuff up, there's still plenty of equity in there. And I was like, well, how long would it take you, to get your money back? He was like, well, depending on the rent, like it'll probably take, some years, to get the money back. But, you're getting that positive cash flow in and all this stuff and all that. And so ideal scenario, it's a great investment if you only have to pay half and you're getting consistent money from the rents, right? That's a great real estate investment. People have made millions and millions of dollars doing that. Benjamin Franklin said that if you pour gold into your mind will fill your purse filled with gold. So a better investment than real estate, than stocks, is if I can learn what Stan learned in 4 hours Like if I can learn what took Stan 10 years to learn, and I can learn it in 4 hours, I can implement it in 30 days. I just saved close to 10 years of my life.
For real though.
Wealthy people buy time. Broke people spend their time. So right now, you got to be focused on getting things that are going to multiply your time. And that's what this is an example of. You're going to be learning from me, Peter, Stan, Angel. Collectively, we have over 30 years of experience speaking. Collectively, we've made millions of dollars. You're going to be learning all that. You're not going to be learning it just from Stan, just from me. We're going to be there with each other to bounce ideas off. Oh, when my time comes up, I'm going to reference something that Peter said. I'm going to reference something that Angel said, because I'm going to be right there taking it all in too. And so you get that. And those are the types of learning opportunities that you've got to be after right now, because again, you're buying time. And that's something we can't get back, right? So if I'm buying it, if I'm taking it, it's like, okay, this 4 hours is going to mean to me what 15 years of experience would have meant. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And again, for any of you all who are like, yo, I don't have a message, or all those things you will learn, or for the higher ed professional that's watching this right now, you want to like, is this for me? Now, if you're one of our higher ed mentors, and you'll be there with us for a day and a half, you'll have access to day one with all the training. But, this is also something that, while I know that budgets are frozen, professional development is still something that some folks may invest in. So this could be something that your institution may pay for. And even if they don't, what kind of impact would, creating stuff with what you already know have, on your bottom line, right? Because the truth is, and as a former higher ed professional or a student affairs expat, what I do know is that sometimes, most of the time, pay isn't what it should be, based on the work that is done in higher education, the people that you support and how you support them. And my life began to change when I learned from others, how to leverage my knowledge for opportunities and for money. And that is ultimately what we want to teach you as well there. So if you're a higher ed professional and you're interested, or you're someone that's like, yo, I'd like to know how to do this, then you should probably go to College Speaker FastPass, and feel free to shoot us a direct message or an inbox message asking more information about what you might think it may cost, or what the cost is. The most I've ever paid at one time for something, and again, this is important because people feel like, they just, what, I could do this. It's kind of like no one ever goes and watches someone do surgery. They never watch a surgery when the doctor comes out. They don't go, nah, I could do that.
All they did was cut around some stuff.
They just cut around some stuff. I've seen it on Grey's Anatomy 1,000 times. Like, no one ever does that, but people will do that with digital marketers or entrepreneurs. The most I ever paid in one time for something was $15,000. $15,000. $15,000. And I say that in part because I want you all to know that, number one, I'm serious to this, and that's a way where you determine how serious you are. Because there's nothing like having to pay for it, like having an expensive mistake.
What was that sales pitch like? God, I want to be there.
I'm not gonna say who it was, but I tell you what, they sparked something in me. I slept on it.
$1,000.
$15,000. And the thing is, I was probably one of at least 50 people in that moment that was like, this is for me.
When we stop recording, you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me.
I will.
You probably told me already, but I want to hear it again.
It was, man. But what money does, though, is it makes people pay attention. I usually only give advice to people twice before they have to pay. And that's something that happened to me, but I didn't get it before. But it's like, oh, you inbox me, you want to call me? Cool, let's talk. But at some point, people only start to pay attention when they begin to pay. And then there's some folks that just have enough money, they'll just keep giving you their money whether they pay attention or not. But I'm not in that place. So when I paid attention. And that is how you save money. That's how you save time. Task people out. Like, if people want your time, make them earn your time. And Odell said this, I want to say in a previous conversation, but it's like, listen, the proof is when you ask me something, I give you advice, The next time we talk, I'm going to ask you about that advice I gave you. If you've not followed up on it, strike one. That's it. Like you ask me, the next time we talk, I'm going to ask you about it again. If you didn't do it, strike two. And then I'm probably just not responding ever again. You know, unless I see results, unless I see you moving and shaking and doing, that's it. But that's it. Yeah. Anyway.
15,000. So hold on. And this is a learning experience. I'm not trying to belabor the point or open up old wounds or anything like that.
Golly, yeah.
So for what you thought at the time, what did you think? Like, when did you think you would make that $15,000 back?
In my mind, I was like, I got a year and a half. Let's say I'm super optimistic. So I'm like, shoot, in the next 6 months, but I'm going to get it back. But ultimately, I need like in the next year and a half, where I'd be in a position to really like use everything that I learned. Everything I learned. And the truth be told, I still haven't used everything, in part because I've like grown in some different areas and moved in different directions. So I still haven't used everything that I learned from that $15,000. But it was a real 15 grand. It was a real 15 grand. That is for sure.
I had a conversation with a good friend of mine. She said the most she had paid was $17,000.
The most she paid was $17,000.
$17,000. She was and she said she used absolutely nothing.
What?
She didn't use anything because whatever like lane it was in, because she's a speaker too, it was like causing her to like do some different stuff. And it was just on a payment plan. It wasn't 17 all at once.
Yeah.
It was like on a payment plan. Her mom helped her out with the first installment or whatever. And she just kind of chopped it up. She just charged it to the gang because she was like, afterwards, she was like, yeah, I can't really use it like this. I can't really do it like this. I think it had a lot to do with her schooling and the way her family, she had kids pretty young and stuff like that.
Okay.
So she was like, I never used it, but she remembered the pitch.
And maybe that pitch is worth $17,000.
Hey, I'm going to use that pitch. Wait till the college speaker faster.
I can't wait.
I'm going to use that pitch because when she was sitting there replaying it to me, I said, huh.
This would have got me too.
Yeah. Seriously, would have got me too. So, but in saying that, we're not saying that you have to pay $15,000.
Right. I know, right? It was like 15 grand. No.
Yeah, we're not planning on offering that yet. So it's not going to be something but it's going to be something you got to pay a little bit for, and you'll be able, and I'll be certain to show you this is how you not only get this back, but you double and triple this investment. And you'll be able to point to that experience and say, because I went there, I got my money back. Like it's a lot more difficult when you're investing in information, investing in training. You can say, from this idea, I got this. But I promise you, after you go to the College Speaker Fast Pass, after you go through it, you're going to be like, from this, I got this relationship, I got this idea, I got this strategy, I got this tool that is going to make me 4 or 5 times more than what I invest.
What Odell has been like phenomenal at, because there are a lot of, like, let's say speakers or entrepreneurs, because I think everyone can speak, right? But in teaching people how to market and advertise, that creates a whole new lane. But what he's done is, instead of each person being on their own island, he's created an island and then brought all those people to that island. So what does that do when 10, 15, 20 people are able to work together? It completely changes the game. So a lot of y'all may be watching this right now, or who are going to come across this, have been working by yourself, wondering why you haven't been able to go forward. You've literally been in this really, really nice truck, right? In this super nice truck. But what happened is you went over this mud patch. And so your right rear tire has gotten caught in the mud. And you just keep pushing the gas as hard as you can, but now you're just kicking up other mud. But what if there were 3, 4, 5, 6 other people that just walked behind the truck and helped you push it out? That is what we are allowing you. That is what we're creating. I literally just came up with that.
So you got that, and then you got the limo that
I did come up with the limo.
God almighty.
I'm working on it.
You got those, man. You got to use those. They might show up in a book of mine. But anyway, but I wanted to add this, and I'm going to give this away. This is going to be, if you're still watching or you tuned in, this is going to be your lucky day. Because a lot of people will ask, well, Odell, do y'all help speakers get booked, right? Or do y'all trying to run a bureau or whatever?
Right.
And when I talk about collaborating and different things like that, if you're a professional speaker, if you are,
like if you're in the military,
whatever you're in, I want to give you a certified way that you can partner with anybody and not lose out of the situation. And if it doesn't work out, you don't have egg on your face. You ready for this? This is going to work miracles for everybody that pays attention to this. This is how you collaborate. You put yourself in charge of the promotion and the fulfillment. If you do that, you can't lose. And here's why. Promotion is the hardest thing to do. So if me and Stan get together and say, yo, we'll use our sons as an example. You got a little Bambino. I've got one too. Will and Trey. So Will and Trey are super basketball. They're basketball stars extraordinaire. And I'm going down to Atlanta training. And, Will's a little older than Trey. Yeah. And so it's like they getting it just like, yo, man, they're going to be something special. They're going to be great. They're going to be really good. They go to high school. They do the, LeBron and D Wade. They go to the same private school, all that stuff. All that's great. Our sons are phenoms. But the magic doesn't happen until the agent taps one of us on the shoulder and says, we can get him to the league. We can get him to the league. It doesn't happen. We can do all that we can, put them on YouTube, put them on social media, all that stuff. But until that agent says, I got 10 teams right now that would sign him, first he'd be a lottery pick. Your sons would be lottery picks. All that, it doesn't matter. Because the agent is in charge of promoting our sons in this example to the right people. So that's their collaboration. Like they're saying, you give me control over the talents, over the rights to this talent, and then I'll go to the team, I'll go to the league or whatever. So if you're promoting something, I go to Stan, hey, what you want to promote? I want to promote this phone. All right, cool. I'll bring people that can buy the phone to the phone. And as soon as those people pay me fulfillment, then I'll give you a cut.
Boom.
You do that if you're with another speaker and you're like, let's promote this product. Let's promote this. Let's promote that. You do it because that's the hardest work. Then that collaboration is mutually beneficial. So if they don't fulfill their end of it, then you don't have to do anything. You can just promote your own thing. But most people, they miss that. They think we're just going to get these two great things together. Like I talked about our sons. We're just going to get our two great things together and let it happen.
Hey, we're just going to let them work as hard as they possibly can. And they will definitely hard work is not always a guarantee. I don't want to say it the way I was about to say it, but it's not. Hard work is not a guarantee. We'd like to think so, but we know a lot of people who connected with the right person. That person was able to elevate everything else. And for the folks who, again, they're trying to wonder if they need another example, because before we talked about, obviously college speaking, student affairs professionals, moms, dads, right? Because they all have something, whatever their piece is. And also folks who are in the service. I mentioned the military before, but think about, again, we talked about your target market. So if you're in the military, that's like a given market, because how many people who are in the military or retired military that need a service, that need a book to help them through tough times, that need someone to lift them up, that need someone to talk to, that will understand their position where they come from? Well, and how many people do that? How many people do that? Again, if you're in the military and you're watching this, you should definitely come to the College Speaker Fast Pack, because in my mind, I'm thinking whoa, this is a great lane because there are not nearly enough people who are serving our troops in a way that's going to be healthy.
For the military before?
Who's spoken for the military before?
Me?
Man, come on.
Me and Peter.
You and Peter have. I've just done it one time. You all are. Listen, folks, I didn't even mean to throw the Chris Paul oop, the CP 2.1. I call him CP 2.1. I'm disrespectful sometimes.
What? Hey, no, Chris Paul is my guy, man.
I know. You know
stop
what?
It. Hating on him and LeBron. What we got against the class of 2003? That's my class.
That's crazy. That's fine.
You don't like J.R. Smith either?
You know what? I think J.R. Smith, he could have been one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
He could have.
I really think so. But anyway, we're getting off topic a little bit. Fine. All right. Through the CP3 oop to Blake Griffin, that's the kind of oop that just happened that I had forgotten because you all do so much. But you and Peter have spoken in military installments into the troops. So the lane is there. Just imagine how much more powerful the lane is if you also
if you're in the military.
If you're in the military. If you're in the military, like how you're extremely credible. And we actually would teach you how to elevate yourself to be more worth listening to if you don't feel like you have something to say. Man, anyway, this is huge. So yeah, in a nutshell, you should be there. When you get a chance, go to collegespeakerfastpass.com. You should just do that because it's a great opportunity, and it's not $15,000.
Military speaker fast.
Military speaker fast pass. I already know what we're gonna do when we get out of here. I already know what we're gonna go shopping. Odell and I shopping is different than we don't go grocery shopping. We don't go. I'm not gonna tell you what we're gonna do because one of y'all gonna be smart and try to beat us to where we're going to go shop. We go shopping. That's all I'm gonna say. Military speaker fast. Anyway. Anyway, all right. So, if any of you all have questions, please put them in the comments section, and we'll answer any questions you could possibly have. I know right now you're either listening to this via podcast or you're watching this in the Mental Flight School public page or YouTube. So feel free to put it in the comment section if you have any questions. Hey, Chris Horace, don't let me. Hey, hurry up, Odell. Somebody is on to us. Chris just said website shopping. Hurry up, hurry. Y'all understand, man.
What if it's bought already?
I don't think it's bought. It cannot be bought. Chris, let me see your hands. No, I'm just kidding. You're on the internet. Can't see your hands. But we're definitely going website shopping. Appreciate you very much. And there's a great lane for DJs as well. One of the top DJs on planet Earth is in the Mental Flight School group right now. What's up? Shout out, Chris. You do what you want to do. If you want to partake, I don't, but that's not a bad notion. We may be connected with we may know some military folks. Odell, really quick. What if, let's say there's someone in the military who's watching right now. What if, as we get, military speaker fastpass.com, we tell the person in the military for anyone that they get to attend the College Speaker Fast Pass, they get broken off a little bit. Am I saying too much?
Yep, you are.
I'm saying too much. Never mind. That's off the table. That's off the table.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it? Okay. It's done, it's done. But again, that just shows there's so many different lanes, collaboration. And again, if you're willing to do the work, you'll be able to collaborate with just about anybody. For real. Just about anybody, especially if they're in your lane. If there's any other questions or thoughts, feel free to put them in the comments section before we hop out of here. Really appreciate you all for coming and having a good time with us and learning that, again, we have been affected as well, by this pivot situation, by the pandemic, by the quarantine. And we both have families, and we're both figuring out not just how to thrive in the situation, but go, okay, $30,000 is missing 2 months from now. And, we are in this space where we're certainly able to predict the future of what that part of the business is. And for the first time, I want to say in 7 years, man, I won't be platinum with Delta. I think that's done. This may be the last time I'm like a medallion in flying anywhere.
Go ahead and speak that into existence, man. Go ahead and speak it.
Yeah, because in part, getting up, having status is about getting free upgrades and stuff like that. But you know what? I'm in a place now where if I am traveling, I want to be able to pay for that upgrade comfortably. I want to be able to pay for it first class for the family without worrying about if I'm getting upgraded for free. So this is the last year that I will be, platinum for Delta and all the other airlines, because life is about to change significantly in a great way as we continue to thrive in these difficult situations. That's it. Any parting words or thoughts, Adele, before we hop out of here?
I will say this: just all of the stuff that we said, whether you come to the College Speaker, the Speaker Summit or not, find somebody else to collaborate with. That's the biggest thing, and something that you care about. Cousin Russell just shared a post today. Like, what are you obsessed about? What are you obsessive about? Whatever that thing is. If you don't have a product line already, find somebody else to help and just collaborate with them. Madam C.J. Walker, if you saw the documentary on Netflix, or it was like a short film series or whatever. Yeah. Not 1,000% accurate, but she started off promoting or wanting to promote the other lady's stuff. And the lady said, nah, I don't need you, whatever. And she took that thing and she ran with it. So start off by helping somebody else and what they're doing, in whatever lane you want to go into, but start doing something. I think for everybody that this speaks to, because some people this won't speak to, and that's fine. But if this time in your life has caused you to say, okay, what does this make possible? Not what has been taken away, but what does this make possible? Whatever your answer to that question is, go after that, find somebody, and those are my words. Yeah,
make money with your obsession. Period. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now. This is Brian Elias' shirt. His brand, Stay Humble. And I'm being more intentional. Like, I'm not wearing any label that is not connected to me or mine. That's it. What you got on? Secrets from us. That's dope. Like, listen, I got branded other stuff, and I'll wear that when necessary. But when it comes, you shouldn't become obsessed with you. Become obsessed with your dream, what you want to do. Like, if one more person knows that your brand exists instead of Nike, congratulations to you. That's what it's about. So that's all I got. Appreciate y'all for being here. Hope this was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Hit our inbox, join our groups, and learn how to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. But again, even if it's not us, find somebody to invest your time in and resources in to help you rise above all the noise. So again, this is Stan Pearson II. You heard it here first. And remember that effort on fire beats knowledge on ice.
I'm not even going to take that one from you. You got to keep that.
I got that one for life.
Yeah, you got that one. That's for Stan Pearson II quotable. Stan Pearson from the Pearsons.
Peace.